Well, the MCU has a Grim Reaper. We finally got some confirmation on the casting of the Grim Reaper for the upcoming Wonder Man series. Let's talk about the Grim Reaper himself, who's going to be playing the character, and why he's already been teased in the MCU. Well, it's been a little while since we had any news on Marvel Studios' Wonder Man. The show is set to start production early next month, and it appears Marvel is finally formalizing its full cast. Now, earlier today, we got a pretty interesting report from TV Line, and they appear to have confirmed the major villain of the series. Now, according to them, Demetrius Grosse, who's probably best known for Fear the Walking Dead and Lovecraft Country, will indeed take up the role of Eric Williams. Now, in the comics, he is the brother of Simon Williams, who obviously is Wonder Man, and he does eventually become the character known as the Grim Reaper. Now, obviously, there's going to be some big changes from the comic, but even the comic book version has a lot of variation. One thing that does seem to be ongoing, though, is the rivalry between brothers, which was also a big part of the comic, and the logline for the series actually says it's the story of two actors struggling to make it in Hollywood of the MCU. The big question: what does Hollywood look like in a world where superheroes are real? So it totally does sound like those two actors are indeed going to be Eric and Simon Williams, and their rivalry, which really does drive him into his villainous role. Now, obviously Wonder Man has some pretty fantastical powers, so the real question for the Grim Reaper becomes, what kind of version are we going to get? Early on, the character had what was known as the Techno Scythe, which was a weapon designed by the Tinkerer. Now, the weapon itself was pretty interesting. It had the ability to spin its own blade at rapid speeds, making it pretty much like a propelled buzzsaw, but could be used as a missile shield and even an improvised helicopter. It also was able to fire concussive blasts, gas pellets, and even electric shocks. Now, in the later years, the character gained mystical powers, which definitely enhanced his strength, stamina, and durability, but more interestingly allowed him to do crazy stuff like reanimate the dead, teleport himself, summon demons, and even create illusions. Now, what version of the character we ultimately get in the show, we're going to have to wait and see. The techno version of the character really doesn't match up very well against Power Man and his power set, so I suspect some sort of hybrid or even similar origin story driving the two characters in different directions. As far as Demetrius Grosse goes, he is a pretty great actor, and I think he'll fill this role nicely. We've been getting teased for the Grim Reaper for quite a long time, so it's great he was finally cast. If you remember back during WandaVision, there was a little bit of a Grim Reaper Easter egg, which was a direct nod to his association with Simon Williams and Simon Williams' association with Vision. But obviously Marvel Studios never did anything with that, so I wonder if we're going to get some kind of callback or interesting tie there that'll be completely unexpected. Obviously Wonder Man is shaping up to be a rather unique series. It is pretty cool to see such a classic Marvel villain coming to life. I am curious how they're going to do this visually and whether they're going to give him a costume that has any resemblance to his comic book origin. That could be pretty interesting, and it would be absolutely wild. But we'll have to wait and see.